Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome to this Monday. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. As usual, we start anew with a brand new Pat Gray bingo card, which will be pinned to the top of our Twitter page. But it starts in the upper. Now, if you ever get a bingo during the course of the week, when we say these things, you mark them down. And then if you're the first to call through it, 1-888-900-3393.
Wow. It was right there.
Yeah, right there on the wall. Still, I'm struggling with it. So 888-900-3393, and you're the first one through with bingo. Then you win $35 at the merch site. So it starts in the upper left-hand corner with subtle nuances. Then we have this. That may be the rarest thing on the card because we play that when there's really cool things, when there's a really great heavenly moment. And those are somewhat few and far between. Yeah. Middle of the first row, Keith.
This does not end well.
And then we got Joe eating ice cream, which he does on a regular basis.
Yeah, I'm sure a video will pop up.
Mr. President, what did you order?
Chocolate chip.
Oh, wow.
What has enchanted you most about The Office?
Same thing. Mm-hmm. Then poked with pickle forks. This, one of our favorites.
It's ma'am. Mm-hmm. It is ma'am.
Right. Jeffy, I got it. First of all, I got it. Everyone has a podcast.
Oh, like atthemikeshow.com?
Keith saying,
shut up, you.
Mm-hmm.
Shut up, you. Boy, there's going to be a lot of shut up, you moments in the stack today.
We have Biden saying,
I give you my word as a Biden.
Oops, all berries is a lie.
Awesome.
If you love it so much, why don't you marry it? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Joe talking about curing cancer.
Oh,
if I'm elected president, you're going to see the single most important thing that changes in America is we're going to cure cancer.
Nice. Haven't seen that yet?
I'm not joking.
Looking forward to it.
He said that.
Yeah. I'm not judging their soul. I'm not their judge. All I'm saying is they're going to burn in the fires of hell. Right. That's how that usually goes. Explain things to Judy.
Oh, remember that caller who took everything
things literally? Then,
oh boy, this guy.
Barack Obama
Knows how to party, this guy, I'll tell you that.
Doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do think at a certain point you've made enough money.
Made enough money. Keith says,
no, sir.
Then Pat mentions the band Boston. That's pretty rare, so that'll be another tough one. Jeffy shares a life hack. This from, I'm sure, Joe Biden.
Come on, man.
Audible sniff. And, of course...
Oh, oldie but a goodie.
Yeah. This is one of the classics of all time.
My fear is that the whole island will become so overly populated that it will tip over and capsize.
Capsize. Yeah, we don't anticipate that happening. But then Jeffy, do ya? This.
And we're not free.
And it goes a little something like this.
Okay.
That usually happens when we've waited longer than we feel like we should for a clip of some kind.
Just gut check.
Stop. All right. 888-900-3393. Speaking of Obama's birthday bash, they keep calling it scaled back. It went from 500 to maybe 498.
Yeah.
I think that's the scaling back.
Because you and I were disinvited.
Yes, right.
That's what happened.
So that was the scaling back of his opulent, decadent party on Martha's Vineyard. He's got this $12 million place in addition to the $8 million place in D.C.
Wait a minute. I think at a certain point...
You made enough money.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good option there.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a really good point.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Too bad I wasn't ready.
No, that's cool.
Come on, man.
All right, well, okay. Mark that one off, too.
And...
I mean, I do think at a certain point you've made enough money.
Money. Yeah, I do think at a certain point you made enough money.
$12 million on a house that's going to be swallowed up by the ocean in a few years, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, isn't that what he believes? Yes. All those goofballs believe that stuff, supposedly.
Do they?
Yeah, right. Exactly. 888-900-3393. So one of the performers at Obama's birthday party took some stealth pictures of the big event and shared them on Instagram, and then he was ordered to take them down. But here's a look at what was going on to a certain extent.
No masking. People in close proximity to each other.
Yeah, no masks.
Oh, look, there he is dancing out there. And do you have let's see the video of Barack Obama dancing, if you have that, Rob. There we are on the dance floor.
Oh, he can get down.
Yeah, he can. Oh, wait, no masks and hugging. And
I tell you, these hypocrites are unbelievable.
It is one after another.
Unbelievable. Snaps of the open bar showed bottles of top-shelf liquor and cigars and s'mores cocktails garnished with melted marshmallows. I bet that was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
I'm kind of upset you and I were asked not to come.
Yeah. Because, man, did I ever want to be there? And I think you felt the same.
Sure did.
They had Erykah Badu. She snapped some pictures of was that her, in fact, maybe? I don't know. I'm not that familiar with Erykah Badu.
I'm not either.
Gold napkins,
yes.
Masks, what were worn, and there were very few. And backstage passes were emblazoned with 44 by 60, which is a reference to the 44th president's 60th birthday.
Wonk, wonk.
Bathroom amenities included antiperspirant wipes, a lint roller, and Advil, according to the pictures. Isn't that great? That's really great. The rapper, is it T.J. Beckham?
Sure.
Whatever
you say it is. That's what it is.
He apparently performed a version of his hit, Birthday Bash. They leave out the middle. So I'm guessing since they left it out, it's probably Birthday Bitch, perhaps.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not familiar.
Anyway, that was his song.
Yeah.
It's also sung by Alicia. Alicia Keys was there singing.
Oh, there's someone I recognize.
John Legend.
Okay.
Was there singing.
Yeah.
His bully wife, Chrissy Teigen, was
there.
That's right. And here's just a couple of other minor celebrities that happened to show up. Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks, George Clooney, Jennifer Hudson, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Bradley Cooper, Don Cheadle, Gabrielle Union, Dwayne Wade, Bruce Springsteen, Erykah Badu, we just mentioned, Stephen Colbert, and John Kerry. Just a few. Just a few of the celebrities that were on hand.
Yeah, and do we have the picture of John Kerry arriving in his private jet? There he is.
And they said, no, he didn't arrive on a private jet. He took a ferry to the island. Well, there he is right there, unless that's from some other day and somebody just threw that in.
No,
I don't know.
I think he was looking for something in there. Probably.
I'm not going to be put on the defensive.
That's right.
Thank you.
And
Thank
then,
you, John.
you know,
you stick to that.
The locals there at Martha's Vineyard were like, the traffic was an absolute nightmare. You know, polluting the skies and stuff like that with their
hypocrites.
Emissions. Oh, absolutely.
Hypocrites.
Oh, so much so that somebody said, I know of 2 people personally who were there, and they are not vaccinated. So obviously this was not a requirement of this party.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
you know they're not checking proof of vaccination.
Not at all.
When people got there.
And you also know, now that Birthday Boy has had his little celebration, this is the week that is highly anticipated that we're going to get the national speech we're expecting. It might be announced today. They've been saying for a couple of weeks now, Wednesday, August 11th, is Joe Biden's going to have a 9/11 type speech about national lockdowns need to return. The CDC guidelines are going to get stringent again.
Oh, my gosh.
Had to wait for the birthday party to finish up, I'm sure.
Yeah, nobody's talking about that, of course. Nobody in the mainstream media is raising any questions about, well, gee, was that a good idea to do? Or should you have had 400 or 500 people at Barack Obama's place, all without masks, mingling, touching, hugging, dancing together? Nobody questions that. But Sturgis, which is almost exclusively outdoors. I mean, yeah, they've got some bars that you go inside, but they kind of went out of their way to make sure people try to eat outside and they can drink outside. In fact, they changed some of the laws in the town that you can drink alcoholic beverages on public property because they wanted to encourage you to be outside when you did it. So Sturgis is the worst thing that's ever happened, of course. But Barack Obama's birthday bash, that's not even don't even bring that up. Don't even bring it up.
Wait a minute.
How dare you?
Really? Even Dr. Fauci himself? He didn't call out Obama on this?
He did not.
Oh, really?
No, he didn't.
But surely he was asked about it.
He did call out somebody else.
What?
You've brought up regionally the South, but out in the plains, in the Great Plains, we have Sturgis, South Dakota. There's a gathering right now of some 700,000 people. Last year,
Pause it
was
for a second.
smaller
That's
turnout.
not all at once. That's over the course of 10 days.
Thank you for saying that.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, God.
And it was over about 150,000 people, and it led to a massive outbreak in the Dakotas, where they became number 1 and number 2 for essentially the rest of the calendar year of cases. What do you expect this rally to do to that part of the country?
Well, I'm very concerned, Chuck, that we're going to see another surge related to that rally. I mean, to me, it's understandable that people want to do the kinds of things they want to do. They
Can't
want
do what you want to do.
that.
You don't have freedom
There
yet.
comes a time when you're dealing with a public health crisis that could involve you, your family, and everyone else, that something supersedes that need to do exactly what you want to do. I mean, you're going to ultimately be able to do that in the future, but let's get this pandemic under control before we start acting like nothing is going on. I mean, something bad is going on. I mean, we've got to realize that.
But you can't do exactly what you want to do.
No, right.
You'll get that freedom back later. You just can't do it now unless you're one of the elite, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, see, what we're told is those are the sophisticated people.
Oh, yeah.
Those are sophisticated. Here's
CNN White House correspondent.
Yeah,
she told us
talking
this.
about it.
Other people said, this is really being overblown. They're following all the safety precautions. People are going to sporting events that are bigger than this. This is going to be safe. This is a sophisticated, vaccinated crowd, and this is just about optics. It's not about safety.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Exactly.
I asked my mom if there's a word for this, and she said there is. Hypocrisy.
Your mom was right, Puddin'.
But they're sophisticated.
Your mom was right.
you know?
Yeah.
You caught that. They're a sophisticated, vaccinated crowd. And we know at least 2 of them definitely were not. But
it's great.
They're laughing at you. That's all they're doing. They are laughing at you and the rules that you follow while they ignore everything that they say.
Yeah, they do exactly what they want to do and where they want to do it and when they want to do it. And if you dare challenge them on it, you'll just be hammered into oblivion.
Well, they're sophisticated.
Because they're sophisticated. And some of them are vaccinated. And we've seen the numbers on the vaccination. I mean, if you have a vaccine that's coursing through your veins right now, you can't be infected. It's impossible. There's a 0% chance that you're ever going to get infected. Or wait, no, that's not exactly right. What they are finding now is that it's actually the vaccinated that are sort of driving the new spike in infections.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so very frustrating.
Yeah, and I don't know if you wanted to play this right now, but it just seemed like what you were saying there just segued perfectly into this mom that took to TikTok and dissected exactly what you just said, where she went through Jen Psaki's thing.
Okay.
Let's see what clip it is. 19.
Hey, Jen, I have a question. Okay, let's go over this, these facts. Okay. Unvaccinated make up more than 99% of new COVID cases in May and June. Remember that keyword, May. Colorado, more than 96% of Colorado's deaths, hospitalizations happened in the first half of 2021. We're among the unvaccinated because in the first half, a lot of people were unvaccinated. What happened in May? Oh, let's read. The CDC said in May that it would stop monitoring the number of infections in vaccinated people. Stop monitoring, they stopped counting cases of vaccinated people.
Wow.
It was limited data. They didn't have a lot of data to work with. But you know who did? Israel. Thank you, Israel. Israel, researchers released data just last week, not from the first half of 2021, but just last week, and they said that, look, the vaccine was 39% effective against the Delta variant.
39%.
70% of COVID positive cases since July 1st have been among vaccinated individuals. Guys, what is true and what's a lie? I'm serious. I can't tell anymore. Jen told us today, July 27th, that it was more than 99% of new COVID cases were among the unvaccinated. You know, it's the pandemic of the unvaccinated now. Sorry. Read more on NBC News from today. It says July 27th. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Okay, kill it.
That's great. Wow. So that's an interesting little tidbit.
Yeah, they stopped counting the infections of the vaccinated. So that's why every case appears to be the unvaccinated. Beautiful, right?
That's amazing. Oh, what's being perpetrated against the American people is just unbelievable. COVID-19 survival rates right now. Survival rates if infected with COVID-19. These are the latest percentages. From 0 to 19, 99.997% of people who are infected survive. Okay, 99.997. You can't get much closer to 100% than that. For the 20 to 49-year-old crowd, 99.98% survive. 50 to 69 is 99.5%. And 70 plus, 94.6%. And these are figures from the CDC. The all-powerful agency that can ignore the Supreme Court and do unconstitutional things. They're admitting that this thing is almost completely survivable. And yet we're treating it as if it is the worst, most deadly disease to ever hit the planet. We got this from Kyle Becker. The mortality odds for all kids, including the highly at risk that make up 94% of all COVID fatalities, is 1 in 300,000. Handy list of other dangers to children we need to be permanently hysterical about.
Okay, what do we got?
All right. 1 in 543 die in pedestrian accidents. Motorcycle accidents, 1 in 899. Drowning, 1 in 1128. Fire or smoke, 1 in 1547. Choking on food, 1 in 2535. Bicycling, 1 in 3825, and so on, all the way down to railway passenger, too few deaths to even count. Passengers on airplanes, too few to even count. Look at this. Hornet, wasp, and bee stings, 1 in 59,507. So all of them more dangerous to children than COVID-19.
Lightning, 3 times more likely to die or to be injured, right?
Yes, 1 in 138,849.
Than getting COVID. Okay.
Your chances of dying from lightning
or injury
or being injured 3 times the COVID rate. That is something else. I'd take my chances with that and feel pretty good about it. You know, it's just ludicrous. But are you going to hear that on CNN? Are they going to do a full spread on that from the top of the hour to the bottom of the hour, or maybe devote the entire hour to something like that? Yeah, no, they won't devote 1 minute to anything like that. Biden administration is considering withholding funds and other measures to spur the vaccines now. They're trying to punish you in every possible way. What else can we do to people to make them, to force them to get the vaccine without saying we're forcing you to take the vaccine? Now they're considering using federal regulatory powers and the threat of withholding federal funds from institutions to push more Americans to get vaccinated. A huge potential shift in the fight against the virus and a far more muscular approach to getting shots into arms. The effort could apply to institutions as varied as long-term care facilities, cruise ships, universities, and would potentially impact millions of Americans. The conversations are in the early phases, of course. There's no firm decision that's been made yet, but they're going to. Of course they're going to.
Yes, yes. And, Hillsdale College, they refuse to take a penny from the federal government so that they aren't attached to mandates and stuff like this that would come down the pike. And here you go. Anybody that receives federal funds could very well end up being compelled to have their employees get the shot if they want to keep getting the money. And this is exactly why Hillsdale set up the way they are.
And federal workers now who lie about COVID vaccination could face prosecution. Federal employees who need to certify their vaccination status under the new policy from Biden face disciplinary action and potentially criminal prosecution if they lie on the form. The Biden administration on Friday unveiled the form that employees will need to fill out, confirming whether they've been fully vaccinated against the virus, adding legal teeth to the president's mandate. So, yeah, if you put down that you've been vaccinated when you haven't, I guess you could actually be arrested.
Madness. Madness.
The Associated Press obtained a copy of the form that was distributed to agency leadership and points of contact for COVID safety protocol implementation. Under this new policy, those who are not vaccinated or choose not to complete the form will be subject to mandatory mask wearing and social distancing requirements and will be ineligible for official travel in most areas and will eventually be put on a train and sent to a really nice camp somewhere.
Oh, like Heart Mountain, Wyoming?
Yeah, maybe. Somewhere in Utah, somewhere in Wyoming.
Sure.
With some barbed wire around it. Keep the coyotes away from you. I think that's all that is.
This does not end well.
Be super safe. No. Let me tell you about Keeps, though. This could end well for you. You got a million reasons to be stressed out, and we talk about them every day. But stressing about your male pattern baldness and receding hairline, that doesn't have to be one of the things you're worried about. Because the good news is Keeps can really help you keep your hair. Thus, the name. Keeps, K-E-E-P-S, offers the same doctor-recommended FDA-approved hair loss treatment, but they're the generic versions, so you only pay about half the cost. It's a great deal. And one more thing you're going to love about Keeps, you can do everything online. You don't have to go anywhere. So convenient. Just go online to keeps.com/Pat and answer a few questions, take a few pictures of your hair and post those. Then a licensed doctor will review all that information and recommend the right hair loss treatment for you. Then they'll ship it directly to your door. And if you have any questions at all, you can call your Keeps physician 24/7 and get the answers you need. Go to keeps.com/Pat, keeps.com/Pat. Get 50% off your already low-priced hair care products. Keeps.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Hey, Pat, you went through those injuries and how you're 3 times more likely to be injured by lightning as a child than to contract COVID. The number of deaths for children under 18 in the U.S. from COVID in the last year and a half, what do you think that number is? How many kids have died from COVID-19 as we lock down our schools and require masks and vaccines in some cases, college and stuff like that? But 18, that's the magic number. Underneath that, what do you think the death total is in the U.S.?
7,247,396.
You missed it by...
I underestimated, probably.
No. Just a little bit over.
Huh.
Like, you're off the Price is Right if you're playing that. It was 335. Grand total. 335. Now, does anybody want their kid to die? Absolutely not. Am I willing to completely screech society in the Western civilization to a halt because of something that kills 335 children every year, or a year and a half now? Absolutely not. So there you go. 335 is our children.
Well, and that's why the report is so interesting on all of the accidents that kill more kids than COVID has. I mean, you're more likely to die through drowning or a pedestrian accident electrocution, radiation, extreme temperatures, and pressure, you're more likely to die than from COVID. Hot surfaces and substance. A dog attack kills more kids. So that list is pretty extensive. And, you know, we don't shut down society for any of these other things. Just doesn't make any sense. They're just not making any sense.
Control.
Well, that's what it's about. And I think we've all come to realize that now they've found a really great way to grab power.
Yep.
Where the American people are somewhat accepting of it because they don't want to get sick. They want to be protected. And some people are willing to give up their security or willing to give up their freedom for their security or their health benefits or whatever. And they just they didn't listen to Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson, who both said about the same thing, that if you're willing to sacrifice your freedom for your security, you don't deserve either one of them, and you're going to lose them both, which is what is happening right now.
Yep.
Right before our eyes. Just, the wisdom of the founders is proven out every single day. And then but it's ignored by those in power, especially when Democrats are in power, as they are right now. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. This Jen Psaki video, is this the one we were talking about where Peter Doocy is pushing her on concerns from healthcare officials about the emotional, academic, and psychological effects of mask wearing?
Yeah.
Children having to wear a mask in school. Here's what Psaki said.
Florida's Governor DeSantis says that he may start withholding funds from school districts that don't let parents opt out of policies that require masks in the classroom. Does the president think that parents should have that kind of power?
Well, I think I've spoken to this a few times, but I will say, as a parent myself of 2 young children, that I want public health officials to make decisions about how to keep my kids safe, not politicians. And not only is Governor DeSantis not abiding by public health decisions, he's fundraising off of this. So my view is that, and our view as an administration, is that parents in Florida, parents across the country should have the ability and the knowledge that their kids are going to school and they're in safe environments. That shouldn't be too much to ask.
He says that his concern is about harmful emotional, academic, and psychological effects of putting kindergartners in masks for hours at a time. Is there any concern from officials that you guys talked to in your early pre-decisional discussions about that?
No, there's not.
No.
And I will tell you from personal experience, my rising kindergartner told me 2 days ago she could wear a mask all day, and she's just happy to go to camp and go to school. And the objective from all of our public health officials has been clearly, and our Secretary of Education, kids need to be in school. We know there's a mental health impact of them not being in school, and we should take the mitigation measures needed in order for them to be in school and in the classroom, including masking and including allowing that to be part of a reality in these schools to keep the community.
These people are the worst.
Yeah.
They're just the worst. There's no reasoning with them. They don't. She almost never answers the actual question that was asked of her. And so she just continues to answer whatever it is she wants. And who cares what your little kid said about it? There's millions of children who feel the opposite way and are struggling to breathe and get oxygen while they're in school because they got these stupid masks on their face, suffocating them every day.
Yeah. Parental rights don't mind to them whatsoever.
They don't care one iota.
But I'm glad we're getting policy from her 5-year-old kindergarten, rising kindergartner. And CNN doing the 12-year-old exploitation, that girl last week. I mean, it's a Greta part 2. You know, we're getting our policymakers in the schools.
Yeah. The policymakers are getting younger and younger and younger. Started out kind of with Greta Van Valkenburg or whatever her name is.
No, I think
at 16, now it's like 12. Then it's 8. Pretty soon it's 6.
We got a 5-year-old.
And 5 now. Yeah.
Pat Gray.
Got some tweets here. Joe Biden's fumbling thought tweets, I don't remember them saying anything negative about Lollapalooza either. Yeah, they had that huge 100,000-person event in Chicago. Didn't say anything about that. That was perfectly fine.
Did Lori Lightfoot, did she have the lockdowns come back into play or something just a couple days after that? They had to get that in. I mean, you know, that's what they're constantly doing. They're saying it's such an emergency, but we're going to wait until this point in time. Like New York's doing that with their vaccine passport. Yeah, well, it's September. Yeah, whatever. It's like an alcoholic. I'm going to stop drinking as soon as I finish all the liquor in this cabinet.
But Sturgis, too many freedom-loving people, so we must condemn and shame them. And that's what's going on. And in fact, last year they tried to say that Sturgis was a big spreading event. It was a super spreader event. Well, that's bull crap. That just is flat out wrong. And Kristi Noem has said so multiple times. She had that investigated. They went to Sturgis. They went all throughout South Dakota. They called every state that people came from to find out if the numbers had spiked because of Sturgis. And it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. But they just keep saying it because they've learned. You just keep repeating the lie and people believe it. And who's going to track that down? Nobody's going to check into that. They're just going to believe it. Eric J513 tweets, the Obama party, I'm sure, took all the measures to be safe, unlike those evil bikers in Sturgis that want to get your grandma and your kids sick. From Jeffy's Meat Sweats, it's science. Science! If you ride a motorcycle in Sturgis, it's a verified grandma-killing super-duper spreader event. Meanwhile, a massive birthday and hordes of illegals pouring over the border. Oh, those are the safest activities ever done. You can't get any safer than that. From Swank Think, I'm in Kansas and masks are already being mandated at businesses again. Please don't. Please. I can't. I'm not going to. It's coming right back around, as was easily predicted. Not in Florida, and so far, not in Texas either, which is great. But in Florida, DeSantis is sticking to his guns. He's sticking to freedom, which is awesome. And also he's responding to Joe Biden. You might remember Biden last week. Let me show you this, where he didn't know who Ron DeSantis was. Look at it. Man.
Governor who?
Lucy, you got some splatter todo.
Governor who? He probably actually doesn't know who Ron DeSantis is
Very
or
possible.
forgot about him 20 times.
Yeah. Here was the response from DeSantis.
Do you have a comment about the comment that President Biden made recently?
Well, I guess I'm not surprised that Biden doesn't remember me. I guess the question is what else has he forgotten?
Exactly.
Biden's forgotten about the crisis at our southern border, I can tell you that.
Right.
Biden has forgotten about the inflation that's biting the budgets of families all throughout our country.
Yeah.
Biden has forgotten about the demonstrators who are fighting for freedom down in Cuba. Biden's even forgotten about the Constitution itself, as we saw with what he did with this moratorium. And I can just tell you, I'm the governor who protects parents in their ability to make the right choices for their kids' education. I'm the governor who protects the jobs and education and businesses in Florida by not letting the federal government lock us down. I'm the governor who answers to the people of Florida, not to bureaucrats in Washington.
Nice. It's a great response.
I mean, if Joe Biden wants to single him out and make him the front runner for 2024 and make it about him versus DeSantis, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. They don't want none of that. He's getting better and better all the time. And speaking of Biden and just how forgetful he really is, Dan Bongino, who used to be in the Secret Service, right? He was one of Obama's Secret Service agents. And he is saying that his sources in the Secret Service right now have told him that Joe Biden's mental state is deteriorating to the point that's more than just a little problematic. He said that he remembered how before the November election, he'd been told by sources that Biden's mental acuity was rapidly deteriorating. But now, he says, not a joke and not hyperbole. I'm hearing from people close to the situation that Biden's cognitive decline is rapidly worsening and is becoming increasingly difficult to mask. The Democrats are going to have to make a decision soon. He further went on to say, there's no joy in saying this, and I mean that. But Biden is in real significant trouble. And listen to me, everyone around him, everyone knows it. Well, yeah, you can. I mean, there's no way you wouldn't know it. There's no way. It's just too evident. We see the best of Biden. That's what we see. And it's bad. So what is it like behind the scenes?
Yeah, if the sanitized version is that.
So he continues, everyone knows it. This is the scandal, that they're not telling you how bad his condition is. It's not a mystery. It's the worst kept secret in the White House. It has to be because, yeah, I mean, we're seeing the effects of it. I can't even imagine how bad it is when he's not on his medication, when he's had a full day, if he ever does have a full day, and he's, getting tired and his guard is down. What must that be like at the end of the day? It's got to be really bad.
Yeah.
Really bad.
In fact, on Friday afternoon, when he was blaming the pandemic on the unvaccinated, I mean, we saw him stumble yet again. Clip 18, if you got that, watch this. More evidence for you, Pat.
This new Delta variant wave of COVID-19 will be very different be able to deal with than the one that was underway when I took office. And yes, cases are going to go up before they come back down. It's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I know I've said that constantly, and others have as well.
No, it's not.
The vaccination of the unvaccinated.
The vaccination.
And it's needless, taking a needless toll on our country.
Okay, he's got numbers for us. Watch.
We have roughly 350 million people vaccinated in the United States.
Wow, okay, we're done.
And billions around the world.
No, we're done.
Pause it for a second.
Yeah, see, we're done.
So
we're done.
We vaccinated more people than live here now.
Yeah.
So I think we're covered.
I think we're good.
I think we're all set then.
I mean, so look, we got 328 million people in the country. 350 million have been vaccinated. That must be the illegals. There's probably 30
maybe, right?
20-something million.
That corresponds pretty well.
It sure does. I think we're done here. All right.
So every citizen and then some by about 22 million have been vaccinated. So what are they complaining about? What are you crying about?
It was literally written down for the man.
I know.
He's reading from a card.
I know.
No way did that card say 350 million Americans have been vaccinated.
There's no way. It might have said there are 350 million in the country, maybe. I don't know. And that's what he confused. I don't know. I don't know how he does this all the time.
I don't.
It's bad.
It's real bad.
Let's see the rest.
In the United States and billions around the world, and virtually no one's died because of that vaccination.
What?
What? Bro.
Okay. Virtually no one's died.
No, sir.
How can you, even the CDC admits it, that more people have died from this vaccination than all others combined over the last decades. Wow. That's really bad. But at least we do have the knowledge that 350 million Americans have been vaccinated.
Remember how irresponsible every little tweet, every little thing that Trump would say that was taken out of context or made to mean something that he wasn't trying to enunciate. How many Americans heard that and said, well, if nobody's died from the vaccine, I mean, the president just told me that, I guess I'm going to go get it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems safe. I mean, if Joe Biden says nobody's died from it and all my crazy aunts and uncles are telling me, oh, don't go get it.
Jeez.
The president would know.
I give you my word as a Biden.
And that's gold. That's absolute gold. Can I have my pudding now? I said the things you didn't right.
You can have ice cream, but no pudding.
Can I have both?
What kind of ice cream would you like, Mr. President?
Chocolate chip.
Okay, dear leader.
And when he's out there, by the way, This is a wrong-colored suit for him, too. You should not be wearing... I don't think I've ever seen a president wear a suit like this.
And tan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never
Didn't
seen
that throw you
before.
for a loop, too?
Yeah, it did.
Was this Jimmy Carter
Go
era?
back to that. I know we're splitting hairs here.
No. I picked up on that, too.
No, not that one. The one before.
Yeah,
where he's saying DeSantis who or whatever.
No.
Governor who. Isn't it that one?
No, it's the vaccinated of the unvaccinated.
Yes.
Look at that.
Pause it. That is not a presidential suit.
That's
what
weird.
are you doing? They're not even dressing him right now. Unless he just can't... He's not wearing what they're putting out for him. That could be, too.
They're probably laying out clothes for him.
I bet.
And then he's just going rogue, and that's what happens when you have dementia and you dress yourself?
I'm going to wear the light tan one no president's ever worn.
Let's analyze that.
You know what?
It's not just the tan jacket.
Look how bad
it's
he
with
looks.
a green and blue polka dot tie.
Yeah. It's a terrible outfit for a president.
What are
you don't wear
those?
that. You don't wear that. I'm sorry. No. I'm going to say no on that one.
Yeah?
Yeah. Along with everything else on Joe Biden. But that is interesting. 888-900-3393. We got to cancel Joe Rogan because this guy is off the reservation, if I might be so bold. The Twitter mob is all angry at him in his podcast after he blamed the vaccine and blasted mandatory vaccination. Oh, no. Oh, no. How dare you go against the grain, Joe? How dare you? Here's what he said.
Can't do what you want to do unless you do what I want you to do. I mean, Don Lemon was talking about that openly on CNN.
Yeah.
Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to the supermarket. Don't have a vaccine? Can't go to work.
That's a good Don Lemon.
It's so strange that people want to say things like that. Like, that's the thing that blows me away. Why do people want to?
Because they're dumb.
They're dumb.
They're
right?
dumb. They don't understand history. They don't understand
Right.
human beings. They don't understand human nature. They don't understand the history of every single country that's ever existed other than the United States. Up until 1776, every country that has ever existed was run by dictators.
Right.
All of them. This is the first one where you had elected officials. This is the first experiment in self-government that actually worked, and it created the greatest superpower the world's ever known. It created the greatest cultural machine, the greatest machine of art and creativity and innovation right here. And how did it do that? It did it through freedom. Because when you give people freedom, you let people do whatever the they want to do, they actually find ways to succeed and grow and thrive. But as soon as you put the boots to them, as soon as you tell them, you have to do this or you can't do that. You have to listen to me. Now you have a mini dictator. You have one step away from a king. You have a one step closer. You're moving one step closer to dictatorship. That's what the is happening. That's what's going to happen with a vaccine passport. That's what's going to happen if they close borders. You can't enter New York City unless you have your papers. You can't go to here unless you have that. You can't get on a plane unless you do what I say. And people say, whoa, it's all about protecting people from the... No, it's not. It's not.
Wow. Good. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, and I'm glad his
So
audience
true.
is hearing that.
Me too. Because he's not necessarily just preaching to the choir there. You know, there's a lot of people who aren't conservative that are listening to Rogan. So it's nice for them to be exposed to that train of thought. And his point about America being a place of freedom, and that's why we're exceptional. It's so true. You know, and just in a frivolous example, take the Olympics that just occurred. We're a nation of, 330 million people. China's a nation of 1.5 billion people. And it's also a country that takes children from their families at the age of 2 and raises them in sport camp facilities the rest of their lives, trains them, makes them work, checks on their body type. So if you have a certain body type, they funnel you into gymnastics. If you have a certain muscle structure, then you might go into track and field. And this is what they do. We let our kids, do things within the construct of the family and grow up and live normal lives and still excel. Why? Because of freedom. That's why. And so that's why we win the Olympics every single time. And we just did again. We won both the total medal count by 25 medals over the second place country, China, and we just edged them out in gold, 39-38.
Was that like the last event?
Yeah. Yep. Like the last event of the last day of the Olympics, we passed them up, which is so great. So great. So we won medal count and total medals. So it looks United States, China, Japan, who had a great Olympics, and almost every country does when they host them.
Because they get into every event.
Yeah.
Just by default. That's not cool.
Great Britain was number 4 as far as gold count, followed by Russia. Now, they don't call it Russia because they're being punished.
Oh, right.
It's the Russian Olympic Committee, but everybody gets to come and compete anyway. Such a stupid penalty. So stupid. You know what? We're going to call you something different. It'll still be Russia, but we're going to put Olympic Committee on after it. That'll teach you to dope up your athletes.
Okie doke.
No, it really hasn't taught them. Then Australia, Netherlands, France, Germany, Italy rounded out the top 10. Canada was in there. Brazil at number 12. New Zealand, Cuba, and Hungary were the top 15 countries in the Olympics. But again, it's because we allow you the freedom to live your dream. And if you want to go for the gold, if you want to become an elite athlete, you have the capacity, the resources, and the freedom to do just that. It's an amazing, exceptional nation. And to listen to the left, it is just the opposite. It's so depressing to listen to people on the left. And the only time they talk about patriotism is when they bring up 1-6. That's the only time they're patriotic Americans. Where, oh my goodness, how dare they rush the symbol of our democracy, the Capitol building. Yeah, really? That's really important to you? Oh, and the police are super important to you? Huh. Fascinating. They weren't last summer, but they were on January 6th. 888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. Some tweets here. Joe Biden's viral load tweets. In our future totalitarian society, the elitists, celebrities, and politicians will have gas-powered vehicles. You'll have electric bikes. They'll have steak. You'll be eating grasshopper.
Yep.
America, North Korean style. Lumbee IT department tweets, how can people still think masks might work? If they worked, we'd have been done with this July 2020. Yet here we are. People don't oppose masks just for the heck of it. We'd be pro-mask if they worked. It's because they don't that we oppose them. The Steve 42, my 5-year-old daughter, thinks Mr. DeSantis is very, very bad, and she's an expert on public policy. Jen Psaki. That's about right. Yeah, that's about right. Also, let's go back to the Biden clip in the tan suit where he's talking about the numbers of people who have died from the vaccine. It's fascinating because we actually have the number from the CDC.
Okay.
Millions around the world, and virtually no one's died because of that vaccination.
Virtually no one's died.
What does a family feel about that?
What family?
You know, like if you had someone...
The family of man?
No. Someone dies from the vaccine.
Family affair by Sly and the Family
No. The President of the United States just called your loved one who died
family ties
virtually nobody.
Michael Douglas or whatever.
No, again, I'm not...
Michael Keaton.
Mr. President, can we steer back to the vaccine discussion?
Michael Phelps.
Wait, Mike, how do we get on to Michael's?
Because it was in Family Ties.
But we're not talking about family ties. we're talking about the families of the vaccine recipients.
Oh, I see. Who died.
As logged on the CDC website.
Well, that's okay. Virtually no one is 12,313. That's virtually no one.
And that's just the United States.
The numbers don't lie.
Yeah. Thank you. 12,313. Again, from the CDC VAERS website.
As of 3 weeks ago.
VAERS stands for Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. So this is where you report it when you've had an adverse event. Dying definitely qualifies as an adverse event. 12,313.
And those numbers are published by the CDC themselves.
That is incredible.
If those weren't accurate, why would they put those on there? Especially when their mission is the complete opposite and trying to get you to take
but anytime anybody brings it up, it's like, oh, that's not what that means. It isn't. Well, what exactly is it then? Help me out with that. What is that? When it says vaccine adverse event reporting system, what exactly is that then?
And those are the deaths. Those aren't even just the injuries.
Right.
And you know,
that's not people getting really radically sick for a long time.
Right. Canada just made Pfizer put a side effect up there on their vaccine.
What was the side effect?
Could cause Bell's palsy.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
And so Canada made them officially list that as a vaccine reaction.
And Pfizer's working on that third shot now. They're about to introduce the third shot that you need to get. Okay. All right. By the way, we found out late last week, Jeffy got vaccinated and had no adverse side effects. So maybe, that should be noted because he's been so vaccine hesitant.
That's part one.
Part one,
him, right?
He got the first shot of the Moderna. So the second one will be at the end of the month, and we'll see what happens
I
then.
think, you know what? I'm going to write this down. I think he said August 24th.
24th?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So there you go. Here's a guy who explains vaccine hesitancy, which is where I am right now. From a business perspective, here he is.
Try to think of what's going on in the world right now from a business perspective.
Okay.
So for this example, let's just pretend that the subject is cars. And imagine that you are the CEO of a car company.
Ooh.
And you get an email from our government.
Okay.
You open the email and it says this. So the email says that they love your company so much and they want to choose your car company to manufacture sustainable cars.
Okay.
And it also says that they will soon be mandating that everybody purchases your car if they want to continue driving.
I like
mentioned
this.
in the email that if you agree to this contract, not only will your car be mandated to the public, but also you don't have to worry about lawsuits if your car malfunctions and causes crashes because the contract just exempts you from any sort of liability. So after reading this email, you're sent an email from social media companies saying that they will help you out whenever they see a post of anybody criticizing your car. They will have a disclaimer at the bottom of the post saying how awesome your car company is and just how great your car is.
I love
and in this
guy.
email, it also mentions that if people are consistently criticizing your car and they don't stop, then they will be heavily censored or ban that person, even if that person is an engineer or an ex-employee of your car company. And if they're saying negative things, the algorithm will hide them, no exceptions. So think about this. You as the CEO of this car company, you hit the jackpot. You have guaranteed demand because it's mandated. People can sue you if your car is trash because it's in the contract. And you have awesome publicity because the negative reviews of your car get hidden for the most part. So now what happens when you don't have to worry about lawsuits? So now you have a guaranteed demand and no worries about lawsuits. So now you can spend way less time and money on crash dummies and safety testing and much more time focusing on how to cost effectively mass produce the needed cars in a way that best profits you and your shareholders. Do you see how this could be a very dangerous situation?
No.
Well, that is what's happening with Big Pharma right now.
What do you mean?
You can blame the pharmaceutical companies as they profit and make billions, or you can blame the government, big tech, and the media for all colluding and creating the perfect storm for corruption. That's why I always advocate for people doing their own research, because these big pharma companies, they don't have our best interests in mind. They have big profits in mind, and they're being covered for by the mainstream media, by the government, and by big tech.
Wow. That's a great analogy.
Sure is.
That's really good. And so true. When you think about it in those terms, it's inconceivable.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go to Kelly in Indiana. Hey, Kelly, you're on the Blaze.
Hi, fellas. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
Good. Well, hey, I will be brief. And Keith, I think I'm going to make you proud here. This past Thursday, I was actually terminated from my job because I had informed them that I would not be complying with the mask mandate. I know it seems, to some it seems silly. We're not talking vaccine, just mask, but I just really felt that was my kind of hill to die on, and so I drew that line in the sand. And what's fascinating, I had made that decision on Tuesday, and I was kind of questioning it, but I was at peace on Wednesday, and I went to work, and we had an email, and you guys will be familiar with this because Glenn has done a special on this, but my company had sent out a email talking about how they got their first ever ESG score and was so proud of their number, and they touted how one of the main things was how they responded to the virus. And so to me, it just was an eye opener, and it made total sense that, and I'm not speaking for all businesses or even mine, but it just seems that the health of the individuals and the employees and customers may take backseat to really being concerned. It may be all about just how they're viewed with their ESG score in the new society. And so right now I'm unemployed. I'm not looking for a pity or anything. I just want to encourage those out there that may be listening, that they may feel kind of led to take a stand or have been wondering what they can do, but they're just like, am I alone? Am I the only one? And I just want to give people hope that if you do decide to make a difficult decision like that, you're not alone, and there are other patriots out there that are willing to take that stand with you. So
good for you, Kelly. What kind of business are you in?
I was in finance.
Finance.
All right.
Do you have any leads on anything yet?
Well, it's interesting. My wife had just made a simple post on social media. Didn't really explain anything. Just kind of saying I was looking for a job. And I've got a lot of friends. I live where I grew up, so I have a lot of friends around the area. And so I had some leads, but the only thing is I'm learning that that a lot of those are requiring mask mandates, and it's
right.
Just, but that's, like I said, I'm a Christian led by faith, and I really feel like the Lord's told me this is where I want you in this decision. And so as hard as it is, I mean, I trust Him, and man, I think at the end of the day, I love this country. And I realize, the reason I have the opportunity to have a job and have this comfortable life set, where typically we can wait till we get another job to move on to another, is because people have sacrificed a whole lot more than I have to give me this opportunity. And so I want to ensure that my kids, your kids, and our grandkids all have that opportunity.
And thank you for standing on principle, Kelly. God bless you, man. You live in Indiana. I want you to wait on hold here, and let's get your information. Do I have your permission if anyone reaches out that needs someone of your skill set, which if you had an elevator pitch real quick, I mean, what would you do? And I guess in the realm of telecommuting, you probably don't have to be isolated to Indiana. There's people out there right now listening to your voice, and they're going through exactly what you're going through. It cannot be easy. Do you want to tell them what you do that you would offer to a company?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What I did, I was I was a customer service rep. I was a loan officer, so I have, closed loans. Okay. We've done some in-house collecting. So I am, I'm familiar with that. I also, for what it's worth, I do have a degree. I was from Liberty University. I was a government and politics major. So that's kind of, a small run through of who I am, I guess.
All right. Well, hang on. We'll get some information from you. Thanks, Kelly, and good luck. Yeah. Hope you land something soon, really soon. Carl in Utah. Hi, you're on the Blaze.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
Hey, good.
I just wanted to say this weekend we had the worst smoke in our atmosphere from California and other fires. I mean, it was the worst you could see. It was like fog. My daughter works as a lifeguard, and she was at an outdoor pool this weekend, and she said they were wearing masks to try to keep the smoke out, and she said it didn't do any good. And I'm thinking, if a mask doesn't prevent stuff you can see from coming through, how good is it with a virus?
It's a good question. Thanks a lot, Carl. It's a great question. And yeah, I understand the air quality there is really bad right now. Yeah. Really bad because of the fires. 888-933-93. Also, we have some fully vaccinated protesters in Italy that are burning their vaccine passes in a pretty powerful display of solidarity.
Yeah, you got to have one of these to be able to shop there, and And since some people can't because they're unvaccinated, these people are burning their cards, and I love it. Liberty. Liberty.
Why are they speaking gibberish, though? I don't.
They're Italians.
Silly. It's just silly.
I agree. Oh, no green pass. No green pass.
Oh, okay. There's some English. Some actual English, yeah.
He took over the microphone. He was like, enough of the gibberish.
Yeah, right.
Speak English. All right.
And these are fully vaccinated people doing this?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, some people are saying, that's symbolic. It's all electronic. Okay, well, I don't know. That's still pretty powerful message sent to your countrymen that refused the vaccine there in Italy.
Yeah. Saying, look, liberty's important to us. So leave us alone.
Yeah.
If we want to get vaccinated, we will, and we did.
Now, the people in France demonstrated, and that got them absolutely nowhere because their Supreme Court said, oh, no, those vaccine passports are legal in Paris after all. Constitutional.
Wow. What do you want to bet? The same thing would happen here. If this goes to the Supreme Court here, are you confident the U.S. Supreme Court makes the right decision? I'm not.
I just don't know exactly what they have on John Roberts. And then I could answer that.
Bizarre. All right. 888-933-93 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Much more coming up here. Let me tell you, though, about one of the new sponsors to our show, and that's Uprising Food. 95% of Americans live in the fiber gap. Over 9 in 10 people are deficient in fiber. Fiber is one of the most well-studied nutrients of all time, and it's a bona fide superfood for most people. Now, what I love about the people at Uprising is that they really care about nutrition, but they also care about taste. They understand that if it doesn't taste good, you're just not going to eat it. You're certainly not going to stick to it. And they've cracked the code on healthy food. You simply can't find something this healthy that tastes this good, that's this fresh. And when you are, denying yourself of certain things in your diet, namely bread. I know that when I've been on the Atkins diet or any kind of low-carb diet, it's bread that I crave the most. And this stuff is delicious.
That's cool.
2 net carbs per serving, 6 grams of protein, 9 grams of fiber, and more importantly, it tastes delicious. You're going to love it. It tastes like homemade bread. If you like homemade bread, you are going to love this. Go to uprisingfood.com. Use the promo code UNLEASHED to get $10 off the starter bundle. Kind of like a mini trip to the grocery store minus all the unhealthy distractions. And they ship directly to your door. That's uprisingfood.com. Use my code UNLEASHED to get $10 off your order.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
I have Patrick of Helena, son of Joseph. Welcome. Welcome. Of course, some people do call me the space cowboy. Some call me the gangster of love. Some people call me Maurice. Never really understood that because it has nothing to do with anything. Close. It's really weird. All right, we got some tweets here from Paul. You're more likely to die of a Clinton-related death than you are of COVID-19.
That's awesome.
And true.
Mm-hmm.
Dumbo ears. Wait, real question. Do you think Joe was invited to the birthday bash? Surely so, since they're besties.
Right.
Yeah, can you imagine? He can't function in that capacity. There's no way you're going to send Joe Biden to mingle with people.
Wait a minute now.
Mm-hmm.
I think they broke his heart. I think he was wearing that leisure suit on Friday, thinking he was about to head down to Martha's Vineyard, and he was one of the people that got revoked. Said, no, you can't come. We got to cut back. Sorry, Joe.
Right. Maybe. It's possible.
But yeah, him out there on the dance floor.
Also from Where's My Pudding, the muscle Canadian guy predicted this last September. Remember? Yep. Which part? Which part?
All of it. The vaccine passports.
Yeah.
Remember he said you will beg for the vaccine.
Yeah. And that's probably going to happen.
A lot of people are.
I'm not quite there yet, but maybe some are. Meanwhile, a judge has blocked Texas troopers from stopping migrant transports. And so what happens? They stick like 30 people into a single van. 30. And then the van crashed. And 10 of them were killed.
Oh, so tragic.
Just so sad.
Yeah.
Federal judge has blocked Texas from allowing state troopers to stop vehicles carrying migrants on the grounds that they may spread COVID-19 as worries and new cases are rising along the U.S.-Mexico border. How does that make any sense?
What?
Okay, you don't stop them, so they go deeper into the interior of the United States and then spread it anyway.
So this judge is saying it's better that one cop doesn't get exposed to them as opposed to an entire nation?
Doesn't make any sense.
You know what?
Absolute zero sense.
Tell these lefties there were no car seats in that van. Then see if they'll react.
Yeah, right.
No helmets or whatever. Oh my gosh, I can't.
No seatbelts.
No seatbelts, yeah.
For 30 people? What do you have? 4 or 5 seatbelts?
Don't be ridiculous. It's a van, Pat. It was at least 6.
The temporary order by U.S. District Judge Kathleen Cardone of El Paso is at least a short-term victory for the Biden administration, which had warned that Republican Governor Greg Abbott's plan would create more problems amid high levels of summer border crossings in Texas, particularly in the Rio Grande Valley, which one U.S. official called the epicenter of the current surge. In a sign of the growing strain, local officials who have rebuffed Abbott's hardline immigration actions to jail border crossers and build new barriers, declared a local state of disaster this week. As COVID-19 cases climb and capacity at migrant shelters is stretched. And of course, they caught, 800 children who were teenagers and younger in one day alone last week. In just one day. Cardone said Abbott's directive would have the effect of exacerbating the spread of COVID-19. What are you talking about?
Judge.
That is just so bizarre. So yeah, don't stop them. Let them keep going and let them keep bringing dangerous numbers in vehicles that aren't able to handle that capacity safely.
Yep.
Let them keep doing that and slamming into barriers.
Oh, look at there.
Look at just come on in.
Look at those families there, Pat.
All y'all come free. Yeah, just yeah, right.
The military-aged men or families getting on the bus.
Sure, every one of them. Look at that. That's great.
Yeah.
They have family.
Good stuff.
Here comes another family. All men of like 20 to 30. So, yeah, one after another. Where are these guys from?
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Yeah.
Where are these guys from?
I don't know. I gotta look that one up.
Don't
find that one out.
Think that's Central America.
No, I don't know. We got to.
No, they're not speaking Spanish.
Speaking gibberish again, just like in Italy.
How many of them there are?
Yeah.
What?
Because that was actually tweeted out by a journalist on the border this past weekend. He live tweeted that. So, I mean, he was there. But you're right. These are not Central Americans.
No.
I just realized
Who are these guys? That's fascinating.
It is.
Because
that's African descent or
something.
Caribbean.
There's a lot of them. Tell you that. A lot of them.
Well, I mean, when you got how many thousands coming across a day, you're going to have a variety of individuals.
Yes, you are.
And so that journalist who tweeted that was there at the right time.
Okay. Jeez. Oh, my. Also, Fox News' Peter Doocy asked Biden about why his administration is letting untested and unvaccinated migrants across the southern border. I'm sure he's got a great explanation.
I have a question about something that you just said.
I'm sure you do.
Thank you. You just said there is no wall high enough and no ocean wide enough to protect
Ain't no
us
wall
from the virus.
high enough.
So what is the thinking behind letting untested and unvaccinated migrants cross the southern border into U.S. cities in record numbers?
There is what we're doing. We have not withdrawn the order that is sometimes critical, criticized, saying that unvaccinated people should be go back across the border.
They should be go back.
Children is a different story.
Jeez.
Because that's the most humane thing to do.
Go back to the beginning of this. You have to
treat them.
See if you can follow his words here. I mean,
no.
He can't get through anything. Listen to this one more time. It's fascinating.
Wall high enough and no ocean wide enough to protect us from the virus.
That's what you said.
And no valley low enough
thinking behind letting
to keep them from us.
And unvaccinated migrants cross the southern border.
Good question, Peter. Thank you.
U.S. cities in record numbers.
Here we go.
There is what we're doing. We have not withdrawn.
We have not withdrawn
the order that is sometimes critical, criticized, saying that unvaccinated people should go back across the border. But unaccompanied children is a different story.
Jeez.
Because that's the most humane thing to do is to test them and to treat them and not send them back alone.
Oh, we're vaccinating kids against their will.
Right.
But the adults, we're not.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Give an option, but you don't have an option if you want a job in America.
Pat Gray.
Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. By the way, Biden's infrastructure bill should cruise through the Senate. It's already on its way, I think, out to the House. It cleared its final serious Senate hurdle last night, putting the legislation on a glide path to passage as soon as today. 68-29 vote. Senate closed down the debate. 68-29. Yeah. What the heck? It's only $1.2 trillion. Don't even worry about it. It spends $550 billion in new money on the nation's physical infrastructure. So where's the rest of this going? That's not even half. Not even half of the infrastructure bill is going to infrastructure.
Yeah, this weekend, Senator Warner tried to slip in, and did successfully, this amendment that would basically go after cryptocurrency and change that safe haven.
So that's great.
Yep.
Good. So we got that going for us.
Yeah, they tried. A lot of people tried to stop it with other amendments.
Huh. Pelosi and Schumer have devised a two-track process to enact as much of Biden's domestic agenda as possible, pledging that the bipartisan infrastructure bill will only advance if it's married to the party line legislation that will spend as much as $3.5 trillion on climate change action.
Yes, correct.
Paid to leave policies and healthcare expansion.
And of course it'll pass because Democrats run the House as well as the Senate.
I'm telling you, the Republicans have to. They must take back the House or Senate or both.
And do what?
In 2022. And stop this stuff. But, yeah, I mean, they do a crappy job of that, I know. But it's the only chance we have.
Yeah,
it's the only chance.
That's what's so depressing.
Overnight, Ted Cruz tweeted this. Crypto got screwed tonight.
Yep.
There's a partisan disagreement on spending, so Dems objected to all further amendments. That means no vote on Wyden Loomis to lessen the damage this bill will do to cryptocurrency, and no vote on the Cruz amendment to repeal the crypto rules altogether.
Yeah, he tried. Man, he did try. And social media was lit up all weekend. And but you could watch the price of Bitcoin last night. You knew exactly when this happened. But look at the rest of his tweets, though. Look at this. The result, look at that. The Senate's going to inflict billions of dollars of damage on the growing and exciting crypto industry, drive much of it overseas. There aren't five senators who understand much of anything about crypto.
What the Senate said tonight, let's tax the hell out of something we know nothing about. Well, they always do that, right?
Yeah.
So we can pass a giant bill we haven't read and spend the American people's money on stuff we can't afford. It's reckless and harmful. Yep.
Yeah, Bitcoin took a nosedive last night, but it has rebounded and then some. So it dipped down to 42-something. It's up pushing 46,000 now per Bitcoin.
Oh, good.
Dogecoin had a great weekend. It's rallied from 18 cents to 26. So I don't understand. I would have thought it would have completely crashed both of those, but we'll see.
Also, the White House statement on the infrastructure bill's impending passage as it relates to regulations coming to the crypto arena. The administration is pleased with the progress that has yielded a compromise sponsored by Senators Warner, Portman, and Sinema to advance the bipartisan infrastructure package and clarify the measure to reduce tax evasion in the cryptocurrency market.
Tax evasion? It's not a tax. How are we evading a tax that doesn't exist?
Yeah.
Authoritarians.
Yeah, right. They believe that all money is theirs.
Yes.
And they just allow us to keep some of it.
Yeah. You thought you had a safe haven. Well, they're coming right at it. This was by design. I mean, they've already been, Yellen's been hinting at it in some of her speaking in front of the Congress there, testifying. You knew this was going to come. You just didn't know they were going to slip it in then. This is where they decided to sneak it in at the 11th hour.
Listen to this egotism. The administration believes this provision will strengthen tax compliance in this emerging area of finance and ensure that high-income taxpayers are contributing what they owe under the law.
Screw you.
I don't like these people with all the intensity of a trillion white-hot burning suns. It's not that I hate them, because I don't hate anybody. I just dislike them with that kind of intensity. Just a trillion.
That's a lot.
White-hot burning suns. It's not, like 7 trillion. Well, yes, it is. I think now I feel like about 7 trillion.
Wow, temperature's turning up a little bit, huh?
It went up just a tad. There was a traffic stop in Chicago's South Side Saturday night. 2 officers were shot right between the eyes. One of them was killed. It's really tragic. There's audio of the 911 dispatcher as the 2 police officers were shot.
This is hard to listen to, y'all.
Yeah, here it is.
Okay, listen to me. Take that damn vest off right now and start compressions. Start breathing. Whatever we got to do, start it now. While you're driving, the officer in the back with her, take the vest off and start compressions now. You got the air.
736, compression started almost 50 minutes ago.
Okay, excellent. Keep it rolling, baby. Keep it rolling. We got it coming. They know you're coming in. And units that are at UFC Hospital, have those doors open for me. Have them open, guys. Have them ready. Units in the crime scene.
See what's off. Careful condition 1 GSW to the head, it looks like.
Go ahead, boy.
644, we got the male officer. He's here. They got him in the CR right now. Side door to the emergency room is open. Bring him through the emergency room side.
All right, bring him to the emergency room side, guys. Guys, male officer going into the ER. Bring him to the emergency room. And the other female officer, please get her in there, guys. Make it quick. Be safe getting there, but make it quick.
736, my officer here is on the head between the eyebrow.
4.
3, repeat that last transmission.
Shot in the head between the eyes. Both officers unresponsive in the hospital. You'll see.
That was Keith Thornton.
The female officer didn't make it. She was 29. 29, had just returned from maternity leave. She's been an officer for 3 years. Just heartbreaking.
2-month-old.
Absolutely heartbreaking. Her partner, Officer Carlos, is fighting for his life right now. There were 47 people shot in Chicago in a 24-hour period of time.
I mean, that's 2 an hour.
It's just really, really sad. 888-900-3393. Let me tell you about Omega XL. If you have pain brought on by inflammation going on in your body, your joints, your elbows, your knees, maybe your back, it's just so obnoxious. And it can ruin your days. But there is something you can try that may be a life changer for you. It's Omega XL. It's all natural. It's not a drug you're going to get addicted to. You don't have to worry about going to the pharmacy for it and all of that stuff, which is such a hassle now. It has an off switch to the inflammation. And once the inflammation is gone, then so is the pain usually. And what I love about this is it doesn't come with that nasty, fishy aftertaste that you're burping up all day. Oh, there's nothing worse than that.
You don't like that, huh?
I don't like that.
Oh, it's like a little reminder gift.
I'd rather suffer in pain than have that.
Okay.
And so this just didn't do it to me. So it's awesome. And to get you started, when you go to OmegaXL.com right now /Pat, OmegaXL.com/Pat, when you buy your first bottle, we'll throw in a second for free. So you buy one, you get one free at OmegaXL.com/Pat, or you could call 800-844-4888, get the same deal.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
The unconstitutional eviction moratorium brought on by the CDC. So weird, isn't it? What does the CDC have to do with this? How is it possible that they have the power to do this? How is it possible? I can't conceive of it. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention called for another eviction moratorium, but there's a chance it will have no effect in Tennessee and some surrounding states due to a ruling in federal court last month. The 6th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled the CDC did not have the authority to pause evictions. Really?
I mean, the Supreme Court's already spoken on that. They don't care.
Yes, that's
it's just so lawless.
That's right. The CDC order itself says that the moratorium doesn't apply to areas where its application is prohibited by federal court order, including Tennessee, Kentucky, Michigan, and Ohio. Here's a quote from a landlord that recently spoke out. I don't know why more landlords aren't doing this, because we need to hear from them. This is crazy. People don't even consider the small landlords who have a couple of rental properties, and that's the living they make.
Yeah.
That's how they make their living. Well, if they've got no income from that, what are they supposed to do? He said he understands that some tenants are struggling with finances. He added that he's worked with some of them to reduce rent payments by having them do things like mowing the lawn, helping with maintenance. How dare you make them do something to pay for their stay? Huh? Who do you think you are?
A landlord?
Huh. But he said some other tenants are just taking advantage of the moratorium. You think? I've had some that have struggled, and I've worked with them. And, you know, they're pretty open with their financial situation, which I appreciate, and that's why I want to help. But then I've had others who I know are working. They're working every single day, and they're refusing to pay their rent because they don't have to.
And they're working every single day. This is kind of like the unemployment benefits. They could work, but why? And that's why the unemployment rate went down last week, is because some of those benefits are ending in some states.
Thank goodness. Yeah, so we had, I think, over 1 million that went back to work last month. At a recent White House press briefing, Press Secretary Jen Psaki said landlords can benefit from the same emergency rental assistance that helps tenants. Okay, so just let the federal government take care of everything. They'll get you dependent upon those payments, and then that's how it will just end.
By design.
But Levering said he hasn't received any financial assistance as a landlord, and neither has any other property owners he knows.
Oh.
So typical.
Wow.
So it's chaos right now, and we'll see how landlords will survive.
Yeah.
Many of them can't even pay their own mortgages.
Right? That's just... And I think I read we're barely 10% of the $46 billion in funds to go to stuff like this has been spent by the federal government. It's there. I mean, the money's there. But that doesn't stop AOC and all of the squad from showing up in front of the Capitol building, or she's leading some group. I mean, this is bad. I mean, she won't even answer a question from a supporter. Watch this insanity.
And we showed up. People said, "How are you going to do it? What's your 10-point plan? What are you doing 5:30 p.m. on Saturday? How many days are you going to be here?" Yeah, but that. But what about? And we said none of that. None of that matters. People's rent be forgiven. We're going to figure that out.
They're going to figure what out?
What are you going to do?
So
you asked us what we're going to do. What are you guys going to do?
So the guy asked her, will people's rent be forgiven? Well, we're going to figure that out. And now this other guy is saying, well, what are you going to do? And then he's going to ask about the 10%, which I think is the 10% is all that's been spent so far that could have helped these people out.
Oh.
That's what, oh boy, and she just watch what she does to this.
So what
you asked us what we're going to do. What are you guys going to do?
Here's what we're going to do. The CDC just announced an eviction moratorium.
Yeah.
And what we're here is for our reasons known and unknown.
What?
So our reasons known was to make sure that we extended this moratorium. That's what we're here to do.
What about the 10%? What about the 10%?
Okay, we're going to turn on some music now.
What about the 10%?
All right, we're going to dance party. I'm not answering questions. Oh, it's dance party time. What's up?
We cannot celebrate.
She's just ignoring him now. Turns around. We're going to turn some music on.
Even her own people who are looking for handouts. What about the 10%? Yeah, I'm just good. I'm going to ignore you. I'm not going to answer your stupid question. All right? Just shut up and listen to me. Her ego is so out of control.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, she thinks she's something else.
But I love that. We never got an answer. She says, we're here for reasons known.
And unknown.
Well,
yeah, I guess the 10% is the unknown. And she's not going to make it known either. Okay. All right, well, good. Good, that's great. Ben and Jerry's is fighting back. You know, they've brought in an anti-Israel critic who has in the past called for the elimination of Israel. The elimination of Israel. And that's who Ben & Jerry's has hired now to defend their boycott against their franchisees, because their franchisees are all saying, what are you doing? This is hurting our business. People are boycotting us because you're boycotting Israel. Why are you doing this? So they brought in anti-Zionist author Peter Beinart to talk to its store owners about Israel's illegal occupation after franchisees raised concerns about the company's boycott of the Jewish state. On the conference call with Ben & Jerry's franchisees and store managers, Beinart argued that Israel is illegally occupying territory that it seized from Jordan in an offensive war in 1967, and claimed that the Jewish state sends soldiers into Palestinian villages to abduct minors. What? What are you talking about? Such garbage. And you know what the territory they seized in 1967 was, right? It's Judea, which kind of sounds like part of Israel to me. Judea and Samaria. Yeah. You mean those well-known Arab areas? The well-known Palestinian states of Judea and Samaria? The reason they seized them from Jordan was because attacks were being launched from those places time after time after time against Israel. It's not an occupied territory. It's part of Israel. The company's decision to invite Beinart, an advocate for the Israeli boycott movement, who has called for the abolition of the Jewish state, to address insider objections, indicates that it's doubling down on its criticism of Israel in the face of internal and external fallout. I say, if you are a supporter of Israel, you should not be a supporter of Ben & Jerry's. I would never buy a single pint, not a spoonful of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. These two are such buffoons.
Yeah.
Such anti-Semitic buffoons that supporting them is just, it can't happen. It just can't happen. Also, activist Sean King has evicted himself from his place. He said, I don't deserve this. He and his family were forced to move out of his home.
Oh, no.
After photos of the $842,000 home were posted online.
How was the house again? How much was that house?
$842,000.
Sounds pretty.
Well, it depends on where he lives. Where does he live?
This is a couple hours north of New York City, I believe it says.
Okay. He said on Instagram that he and his family have decided to move out of their home after pictures of the home were shared by the New York Post.
Oh, how's that feel? What's that?
Yeah, it's a good question, because this is the kind of stuff he's done to people over and over and over and over. Now it's been done to him,
and it's not fair.
And it's not fair.
What he says, not fair.
Today, I've had to make a heartbreaking decision, he said. After a combination of Fox News, the New York Post, and other outlets posted pictures of my home across the internet. We've seen our address posted all over the internet. Strangers have already started coming by the house. My kids can't even go outside and play during the final month of summer break, so we're moving. On July 31st, the New York Post shared images of his home, saying he lived like a one-percenter in a sprawling lakefront home. According to public records, King's home has 5 bedrooms, sits on Farrington Lake. It features a gourmet kitchen surrounded by lush trees.
Gotta have that.
He moved from New York City, where he shared a 2-bedroom apartment with his wife and kids. Now, he's been prominent in the Black Lives Movement.
Yeah, how'd he get all that money to buy that nice house, I wonder?
Because he was prominent in the Black Lives Movement. And I'm not saying that some of the funds he diverted to himself. I would never say that.
No. You would never say that.
I would never say that.
It's just been reported.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying.
And by the way, he's white.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, he's a white guy.
Wait, the Sean King?
Yeah, Sean King is white. He's a white boy. He's a Casper. He's a cracker. Yeah. Samaria Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, who was 12 when he was gunned down by a Cleveland police officer in 2014, has accused King of profiting from her son's death by collecting funds without her permission. Personally, I don't understand how you sleep at night, she wrote. I never gave you permission to raise nothing, she said. Interesting. That was from a podcast called The Breakdown with Sean King. She added, as a white man acting black.
Oh, no, what?
How dare you say that? Do you know he identifies as black?
Oh,
which means, of course, he is black. As a white man acting black, you're an imposter that cannot be trusted. You're a self-centered, selfish person, and God will deal with you, white man.
Wow. Good stuff.
Yeah, that is good stuff. So, but he's going to move. It's really sad. I was trying to squeeze out a tear a minute ago.
Yeah, how'd it go?
I guess my tear ducts have dried up. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, 2021 will do that to you.
Yeah.
But will he be going to University of Wisconsin anytime soon, Sean King? Because there's something really, really terrible up there.
What terrible thing is going on?
Oh, there's a rock there that 100 years ago they used a really...
No, don't say a rock.
Yeah.
Is there a racist rock on the campus of the University of Wisconsin?
And it had a terrible, name that they would refer to it, the students there 100 years ago.
Chamberlain Rock. It's the Chamberlain Rock, an object that had become a painful symbol of racism to generations of students, and they moved it to a site off campus.
Yeah, so it's a dark rock, so they called it Inward Head Rock, which is so stupid and juvenile and racist. But I doubt anyone's calling it that today.
And it's not written on it anywhere, it doesn't say anything about the rock on the rock.
Again, 100 years ago.
But they had to remove it because somebody called it that 100 years ago. That is what lunacy we have to deal with. How can it have gotten so
70-ton boulder?
Ridiculous. 70 tons?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I'm finding
wow.
I don't know how much it cost to move.
Oh, a lot. You don't just pick up 70 tons and put it in the back of a pickup.
Hold on, you don't go down to U-Haul and say, can I rent this day truck here?
No, you don't.
$50,000.
I bet, yeah, at least. The Wisconsin Black Student Union, in partnership with the Native American student organization Wunk Chic.
I'm sorry?
Wunk Chic. Led an effort to remove the rock from campus. UW-Madison's main campus is an ancestral Ho-Chunk land.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't know it was on Ho-Chunk land.
Ho-Chunk?
Yeah, if it's on Ho-Chunk land.
Oh, I get a discount on the corner for Ho-Chunk.
No wonder.
So, wait a minute. So they moved the rock. Are they going to have to remove a river and a tree next? Is that coming up here? Maya Angelou going to help us out with that process, I hope?
A rock, a river, a tree.
Right. Thank you. A rock, a river, a tree.
Our world sucks.
It's pretty messed up right now. I think we'd all agree on that, right? I think we're in agreement. As we end the show, we're all in agreement.
Common ground.
Things are just a little messed up right now, but we're going to fix it all tomorrow for you right here. So,
are we?
Yeah. Be fixing it. Just the whole thing.
So in other words, if people tune in 22 hours from now.
Yeah. You'll find out the solution to everything.
Oh, that's incentive to come back here tomorrow.
Right? Am I right? Yeah.
We're going to have the answers tomorrow. You just got to come back.
Right. All right. So we'll see you then with all the answers on Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.